Hello, this is Agnish Bhaduri from Visit Solutions, and welcome to the Blockchain series. Blockchain is an industry that moves really fast, and it is imperative for us to stay abreast of the recent events and innovations. Being aloof for even a small duration of time can put you behind. Thus, we will update you regularly via our newsletters so you stay in the lead. This video shall solely focus on blockchain status in India, the growth prospects in India, and important events around the world. So let's start with looking at a map of all the blockchain-friendly countries, which are those countries which are open to innovation and are open to the idea of disrupting existing systems. If you look at the map, they will mostly consist of developed economies such as the Canada, US. In Europe, we have Sweden, Estonia, Denmark, Netherlands, and the UK, South Korea, and Australia. All these countries have a high concentration of internet connectivity and a heavy growth in the mobile industry. The factors that we believe are elemental to the growth of blockchain in any economy are a high growth in the industries of mobile and banking, internet connectivity, technology, a high level of education and awareness, friendly legal environment, and finally, a high percentage of startups and entrepreneurship spirit. All these countries exhibit these factors, and thus, these are the top 10 blockchain-friendly countries. Now, let's turn to India. India is a very interesting country from the perspective of blockchain because although it has a large population and the literacy ratios are still not the best, however, as a developing economy, India has also taken to blockchain. So blockchain has a lot of potential in the world's fastest economy, primarily because if you look at it from a growth perspective, India has a huge population, and this population is eventually catching on to the mobile age. Also, due to recent events like the demonetization phase, although it had its negative effects, the positive effects are coming up, like a higher usage in cashless transactions. This is resulting in a higher awareness of technology amongst the common public. Some forecasts believe that by the year 2021, India will have 467.9 million active phone users. As of now, that is a little under half the population. If you look at the current growth itself, 1.3 million POS machines were installed in 2016. And if that wasn't enough, another 1 million were installed post the demonetization announcement in November 2016. As of 2015, 14% of the transactions in India were cashless. These numbers tell a tale that India has a lot of potential for this disruptive technology. So India has started embracing blockchain, probably not as fast as the rest of the countries that we just saw. However, the awareness and adoption is slowly increasing. Let's look at some recent events. Last year, the Andhra Pradesh government adopted the blockchain to fight cybercrime. It is also in talks with the NUS to set up a blockchain-specific university near Hyderabad. Now, this is going to be a huge leap ahead because not only are they planning to implement, but they are also planning to educate. Second, in 2016, the ICICI Bank was the first Indian bank to use a blockchain for remittances. ICICI planned to use blockchain for all its remittance services in the future, and they are already in the testing phase. And finally, the RBI has acknowledged the blockchain and the Bitcoin. Although as of now, the Bitcoin is still not a legal tender, so it is illegal to transact via Bitcoin, but it is legal to invest in the Bitcoin. The RBI also recognizes the market improvement in efficiency that blockchain brings. And we hope to see the RBI and the government form policies to encourage blockchain startups and entrepreneurs. Now let us switch to the rest of the world. Some leading news events that I have picked up that took my interest were: first, South Korea plans to include blockchain. So when recently South Korea launched their fintech development plan, blockchain was a huge item, and they want to use it for banking, for supply chain, and many other industries. The Department of Homeland Security is not behind. They understand that blockchain can bring a significant improvement in the safety and efficiency of records keeping, especially when it comes to social security numbers and identities of citizens. Thus, the Department of the Homeland Security believes that these blockchain ledgers can lead to better security, better secure cameras, and monitoring the movement of not only humans but also goods. This way, they can monitor any illegal shipments or any illegal immigrants that can come into the country. Now, global giants like Walmart are also adopting this technology. Like we've discussed before with IBM, blockchain has huge potential in the supply chain management industry, and Walmart is not going to fall back on this. Walmart want to adopt blockchain completely for the supply chain management systems. Now, in the last week, there have been some important events. And I'm not talking about the Winklevoss Brothers ETF. Well, that wasn't really a positive effect. So we are in early 2017 in April, and Goldman Sachs director has joined the blockchain startup. So Tom Jessop is joining the startup called Chain after serving years as the business technology development manager in 2016. Ukraine has also begun to adopt blockchain for their government. They have partnered with the tech firm Bitfury. Ukraine is amongst the latest in many governments who are adopting blockchain to ensure that government documentation has more transparency, reliability, and security. Now, blockchain has several use cases in the financial services sector. The financial services sector, or the BFSI sector, has a lot of intermediaries, and Moody's expects blockchain to disrupt several of these verticals. Some of these areas will involve post-trade compliance and less liquid markets. So Moody's has identified 5 key verticals or 5 key industries where blockchain could have a significant impact. All of these industries involve intermediaries. Rather, the industry itself surrounds the whole purpose of an intermediary. And this is one of blockchain's most disruptive qualities, like we've seen before, the need or the ability to eliminate the need of an intermediary. To start, the first one are exchanges, like the Nasdaq or the LSE, the London Stock Exchange or the Bombay Stock Exchange, etc. The impact here will be limited because the current trade execution processes are relatively efficient. However, there can still be a high level of efficiency to be incorporated. The second are central counterparty clearing houses. The impact here could be huge because clearing houses are one of the biggest intermediaries there are. They charge a huge fee for these functions, and blockchain could eliminate the need for clearing houses by having smart contracts. The third are central securities depositories. This is another area where these intermediaries handle the transfer of a security between two parties. Once again, there could be a significant disruption due to the incorporation of smart contracts. Fourth, custodian banks. The banking sector is also an intermediary. There are several fintech verticals like peer-to-peer lending systems which are trying to reduce or eliminate the purpose of a bank. People's faith in banks have generally been reducing since the 2008 crisis. However, for blockchain to actually disrupt the banking system is going to take time. Because the banking system, especially the retail banking system, has several functions. And currently, it is a highly concentrated industry with the top 4 banks holding more than 50% of the assets. However, if they can incorporate blockchain, then definitely there will be a reduction in costs for consumers. And finally, the last party that can use blockchain or is likely to be disrupted by blockchain are the registrar and other security services providers. Now, core revenues could decline if the blockchain records real-time securities ownership with reduced errors and if smart contracts can execute simple corporate actions. However, it is going to take a significant amount of time to incorporate this. And thus, this is still one of the less likely sectors to be disrupted by blockchain. It is really important to stay abreast of the latest developments. And like we mentioned, we will be updating you regularly via our newsletters so that you stay in the lead. This is Agnish Bhaduri. I hope this course has given some value to you and has given sufficient food for thought to go out, research on your own, and come up with your own ideas. Signing off, thank you.